All right, our next presenter is, what I love about Dan, very similar to Javier that you saw earlier. He's not about getting deep in the weeds and getting complicated. He's about building relationships, just simple relationships, and how those relationships can cultivate into massive, massive opportunities, massive capital opportunities as well. So everybody, Dan Zitofsky, run!
What's up, what's up, what's up? You guys, it's what, day one, right? You guys are ready. Woo! Man, I never speak last day unless I'm like a keynote speaker, but this is really cool because the people here now are going to get some tremendous, tremendous knowledge on what to do when you leave this event day one. I'm not going to sit here and tell you all why or what to invest in, all right? Because I've done a lot of investing. I'm doing this 32 years, and it's not about me. You don't care about me. You care about what I could do for you, right? A lot of speakers come up here and we talk about how great we are, and we're just probably patting our own ego. But anyway, I'm doing this 32 years. I've done everything in this business from wholesaling, fixing, flipping, owned over 2,000 doors and multis, land deals, hotel deals, self-storage I'm invested in. I'm LP now. In 2019, I sold off the rest of my multis, so I'm different than a lot of people. I'm not a multi guy, but I am a tremendous raising private money person. And what you're going to learn now is what's going to really help you out a lot, because I hear everyone talking about how do I get to family offices, how do I get to institutions. Guys, I've raised over, in velocity, over $400 million in private money. Who wants to know how to do that? In private money. Friends and family, private money. My program, my terms, my rules. Okay? You just heard those things with those term sheets. Did I tell you got to fit in a box? Wall Street tells me how to fit in a box. Family office told me how to fit in a box. Didn't work for me. Okay? Corey Peterson, myself, Javier, and myself, we all do business the same way. I don't talk about how many doors I own too much because it doesn't matter. Because it doesn't matter. What matters is how much cash I put in the bank, how much passive income I have, and how much time I have with my wife, my kids, my grandson. Is that what you guys want? Oh, it's cutting out. You want this back? I'm not giving it back. Am I gonna have two voices here? All right, guys. So let me figure this out. Once again, some of the things I've done is. Oh, by the way, where's our speaker from before? Because he said if I can give him his body back as 30-year-old, I get his Ferrari. Didn't he say I get his Ferrari? Who recorded that? Do we have an attorney here? Because one of the biggest things I did was I was able to lose 90 pounds in the last year and keep it off. So I did get my 30-year-old body back. So I want that info in writing because I'm getting his Ferrari. All right. So yes, I have been awarded as a top educator on how to raise private money by the National Association of Realtors. I'm a life coach, business coach, and consultant to executives. I work with a lot of executives and businesses on how to build their business with people, processes, and systems. And I've been published in multiple industry magazines, articles, been a keynote speaker. I'm blessed that now I'm able to go into events and actually speak at events as a paid speaker as well. So it's pretty cool. One of the coolest things I did is it took me 7 years. I was actually the guy years ago saying I'm going to write a book, and I was typing it out. And the best part of my book is the first part of my book is my why, learning my vision. Because I was like a lot of guys here, I was looking for the nice, making all this money, working all these hours to buy those cars, boats, watches, the watch collection, just to impress people that really didn't care about me, right? So really when I'm saying what you're going to do, be yourself. Don't worry about being Dan Zitofsky or anybody else on stage. Be yourself because I've already been done, all right? Figure out what your why is and what your vision is. And do that because that's most important. Don't talk about how many doors you own. Like, I don't want to impress you and say how many doors I've owned. It means nothing, okay? Why are you doing that? How much passive income do you need to make? What does your vision look like? What does your time look like? What does your perfect life look like? And work backwards for that, all right? Don't try to impress anybody else here. Figure out what it is. Because, guys, I own a lot less in doors than most of you guys own right now. I have probably a lot less net worth. No, I'm not going to say that. I have a lot less doors than you guys have. But I have a ton more equity than you guys have, a lot of you, and I take home and I put in the bank a lot more than most people have, and a lot more time to travel the world. And in summer, you probably won't get me because all summer I'm on the beach or on the boat, just hanging out with my wife and my family and my friends. All right? I'm not answering those property management calls. I'm not answering the contractor calls. I'm not answering, my acquisition managers, my asset managers, or any of that stuff because I own a lot of my assets free and clear, and I get seller financing. Just so you know, my business, so you understand where I'm coming from, is I raise a lot of capital to buy distressed debt from the banks, turning them into turnkey rentals, and selling them off to investors on a note. So I become the bank. I love raising capital. I'm really good at raising capital. I invest in operators. That coin term, invest in the jockey, not the horse. You probably heard it on Tim May's when he interviewed me, and that's why everyone's probably using it right now. Should have trademarked that damn thing. But one of the best things I've done, and I have an amazing wife who's here with me right now, Dawn. That's one of the best things I did. We're just past 31 years of marriage, and I think if I would have kept going the other way, to just try to build my own ego, I might not be there. I have an amazing wife, 3 amazing children. They're older now, and a grandson. So that's my biggest accomplishment, not how many doors I have and how much money I make. Okay, so here's some of the, I'm not going to spend too much time because I want to give you content, right? I don't want to talk about, a lot of speakers are just telling you and, what they've done, and it just doesn't. I'm not going to show you all the pictures of the multifamilies and stuff. I'm going to rip through it. But when you raise private money, you could turn some private money, right, into tremendous passive income or tremendous multifamilies. Okay, so I'm gonna run right through here. I'm not going to spend time. I want to talk about how to raise private money. And that's my beautiful grandson. Let me go through this because I don't have much time, right? Private money allows you to find great deals, okay? Just so you know, I did the deal in Cleveland at 182 units in Cleveland. I bought it for about $300,000 in the tax lien. $300,000 in the tax lien in a decent part of Cleveland, B-minus area. We here would like to die to do that. You got to learn how to raise private money, right? On your terms. I raised that money at 6.5% interest only for 3 to 5 years. Anybody want to know how to do that? All right, 6.5% for 3 to 5 years. No equity at all. Okay, so let me get through here. I don't want to talk about the deal. I'm going to talk about a little bit what you're going to cover today. Okay, what we're going to cover today. Some of the things you need to put together, and I know you've heard about, what to put together. And if you stay to the end, I'm going to give you something for free, too. I'll give you a free PDF. I can't hand it out to you. A lot of times in the smaller groups, I hand it out to people, but I will give it to you for free. I'm not selling you anything here today. Don't worry about that. You can put your credit cards away. The only thing I am taking is that Ferrari. Massive action plan, all right? You need to put that together because I've spoken to a lot of people here in the room, and they've come up to me, and I ask them, like, what's your plan? What are you doing? And they just don't have a plan. They don't know what they're doing. So really sit down and figure out what your massive action plan is, okay? The other thing is elevator pitch. And I'm going to skip quick over some of these because a lot of people have mentioned, and a lot of speakers have talked great about elevator pitches. And who wants to hear my elevator pitch? Who has a good elevator pitch first? I know you do. Who has a good elevator? What do you do? Yeah, what do you do?
I invest in raise capital, travel.
Okay, I'm bored. What do you do?
Syndicate.
What the heck is that? You gotta remember, you're speaking to friends and family. We're not that smart. I'm the dumbest New York. I just got lucky. I tell you, I just got lucky. I'm some dumb kid from New York that got lucky. All right, didn't we all get lucky? Busting up after 30 years, we just got lucky in this industry. Guys, my name is Dan Zitofsky. I raise private capital to provide my investors better than average returns doing multifamilies. My name is Dan Zitofsky. I raise private capital, buying distressed debt from the banks, providing my investors better than average returns. That's it. That's it. I'm keeping it simple, people. Don't complicate it. Don't go off and speak about everything you're doing. Don't say syndicate because that means nothing to somebody that doesn't know what they're doing. Keep it simple. I think we go to these events and everybody tries to, I don't know, sometimes I get so anti-speakers because everyone tries to make it so complicated because they want to raise their own ego and talk about how great they are. And some of the speakers got in here and they talked about how simple they keep it. And the ones that talk about how simple they keep it, I could pick them out. They're doing great. They're doing great. Okay? And that's really what I do. I'm giving you actual details of what I do in my business. I'm going to simplify it. I'm not going to go crazy on seller finance. I'm not going to go crazy on speaking to asset managers, banks. That's for a whole nother day. Okay? Now, who here has a bio and a business plan put together? Look. Keep your hands up. Keep your hands up. Keep your hands up. I just want to scan the room. Man, he raises money. I know he raises money. You guys do good at raising money. He's definitely got it. Look at the people who have their hands up. Get with them. Just ask them, hey, could I see your bio and business plan? That's one of the first questions I ask somebody that comes up to me for money. And you know what? A bunch of people here have come up to me for money right now. And you're learning, so it's cool, but you're learning in a great group. And that's why I'm here speaking for Tim and John, because they're awesome. And I don't say that, they don't pay me to say this. I don't speak for a lot of events anymore unless I really value the event host, because I want to make sure they're putting out quality. And don't ever think there's something wrong with being new. We were all new at one time, right? But you're learning the right way. So that's why I feel bad for the people that either left early or they're outside, because they're missing stuff that if they don't send this to me, I will never fund their deal or raise capital for their deal. Okay? So these are the things I look for. So you're getting and I'm not the best in the world, but I could fund your deals. I could raise a lot of money for these deals. I love raising money. I hate being an operator anymore. Right? And we just say that. Somebody else has said I have no interest in being an operator anymore. I just turned 50. I'm looking forward to that 59 and a half when I can start utilizing my 401k and IRAs, right? And my life insurance policies, taking loans on those things, so I could just go on the merry way and just collect my checks. I'm the laziest investor you guys will ever meet. I was not always that way, but I am now, okay? What type of deals do you acquire? I always ask that too. Do you know what type of deals do you acquire? Right? If I go around the room here, do you know what you acquire? When we say that, Class A, Class B, Class C, Class D, what area? Why do you invest in that area? I'm going to ask you those questions. Know why you invest in that market. Don't make me do your due diligence for you, okay? So do your due diligence. Know the jobs in that area. How many units? What age is that building you're going to be in? Okay, what's your plan? Is it a value add? Is it cash flow? What is your plan? Okay, know your numbers, right? Know your numbers, okay? How does an investor fund your deal? We're going to talk about. What can the investor and lender expect from you? I'll be honest with you. Most of my investors, when I say investors, my lenders, they can care less of what I pay them back. Who here, really the first question their lender asks them is, how much am I going to make? What's the first question they really ask you? What are they concerned about? How are they getting paid back? That's how I'm able to raise money at 6 to 8% interest only with no equity. I don't even know the last time I've paid equity on a deal. It has to be 7, 8 years. I mean, I think Corey Peterson has the greatest. If I ever decide to do it again and I need a lot of money, I'm going to use Corey 6 and 6. I know Corey for a long time, and that's phenomenal. You know, the reason I got out of multis, just so you understand, I felt like all I was doing was working for these damn investors. I was making no money, but I was able to go on stage and say, I have 1,000 and 2,000 doors. I own over $100 million in multifamilies. I was making nothing. And I'm not saying you're not, but that's what I felt like I was doing. So I had to change my game. So understand your game, get to where you need to get to, and figure it out. Don't worry about the ego. Worry about what goes in your bank account, what goes in your life. Okay? And then what do you do once you find them? So I'm going to go through massive action plan. I'm going to run through it a little quick because I already told you what it is. Kind of explain to them where you're investing, why you're investing there. Understand that, okay? So these are some of the areas that I was investing in, and you want to have that in your action plan, okay? Okay, your massive action plan. Why you're there, what are your goals? What's the timeline? Okay? How do you see yourself in that space? How are you going to operate in that space? Okay? And then get a marketing plan together. Okay? Your elevator pitch, we talked about that already. I brought that in already. Okay? Once again, you see my elevator pitch. Feel free to take a picture. Don't use my elevator pitch and say you raise money for distressed debt if you don't. Guys, I don't coach a lot of students anymore one-on-one on raising private money, but one of my students once sent out my presentation, and I got a call from one of his potential private investors saying, this is great, but who are you? He took my actual presentation, sent it out with my email on it, okay? Do not, when I say this, my elevator pitch is exactly that. Look, I say it without even reading it, okay? Just change, it could be anything, because I do self-storage too. My name is Dan Zitofsky. I raise capital, provide better than average returns to my investors investing in self-storage facilities. And I shut up. I don't tell them how I do it. And a lot of it is at parties. A lot of it is at events. And like Corey said, I'm the same way. I do not raise money in rooms like us. This is the dirty waters. Sorry, guys. I love you, but this is the dirty waters. You guys do not want 6%, 7%, or 8%, right? Who here would take 6, 7, 8%? You probably would if I showed you my deals. Because I don't guarantee anything, but I don't know anything that's a safe. I'm not going to say that. I'll probably get in trouble. And Mauricio's not even here anymore. But my wife's recording, and I'll probably go to jail because of her. But seriously, I raise money, and I'm going to talk about how I raise money, where I raise money. I want to get to that. Okay, your buy your own business plan. Talk about that. Okay? People want to get to know you. We heard know, trust, and like you. They do want to get to, and I love when they say money is not always in the deal. They want to know, like, and trust you. Okay? Be humble. Be vulnerable. Tell them about the good, the bad, the ugly in your deals. I always have my first deal in here. Okay? My first deal is always in there. I talk about it. Okay? And I saw, what's his name? I forgot his name. He talked about his first deal. Michael, collecting money, right, for the doing the beachfront houses. I always talk about my first deal. People like to see where you come from. Talk about your first deal. Some of the deals we've done before in our services, talk about who you are, what you do. Think of the 5 W's, who, what, when, where, why, okay? Who's on your team? They do want to know who's on your team, okay? They want to know if I say, hey, I'm not good in asset management, who's on my team that's asset management? If I'm not good in construction, who on my team is doing the construction? Who are my attorneys? Who are my accountants? Who's holding the loan? If I'm in seller finance, who's servicing my loans? Okay, am I self-servicing those? Who's underwriting my loans? They want to know you're not a one-man show. And unfortunately, if somebody tells me that, my first question to them is going to be like, and it sounds bad, but I say, what happens when you get hit by a truck? Okay, so put your investors at ease. Put them at ease that they're going to be okay. Answer those questions for them before they ask, okay? Some of the things I do is, you're listed on my life insurance policy. How many people have told you that before? Anyone here do that? God forbid something happens to you, you take it there on your life insurance policy? Who here does that? I see one hand in the room. Big Paul from Arkansas, right? I remember that. He's got a good gimmick, I remembered it. You know what? He protects his investors. I already might be open to listen to something because he looks out for his investors over himself. He doesn't have the whiff him attitude. What's in it for me? I'm just telling you things that are going to really, I'm at these events, I work with some deca millionaires and billionaires, real deca millionaires, like individuals, not family offices. And we all talk about this, and this is what they look for. So I'm just giving you some hints that if you start thinking about this, it's not expensive. Add them to your life insurance policy. You borrow $1 million from them, make sure they're covered. You think they'll be a lot more interested in working with you? Because you looked out for their best interest? Okay. We talked about the type of deals we acquire, where we acquire them. Your presentation. I know they said that presentation doesn't have to look professional. It doesn't. I've raised money on a PowerPoint I put together with just some text writing. In fact, my webinars are mostly just text writing. Okay? But it doesn't, if you have a presentation, it does not take much to make it a powerful presentation. It doesn't take much. Like, just show your investor that you put some time in your business and you did your own due diligence. Does that make sense? All right? If you have no time, you have 24 hours to raise money, it's okay. It's not gonna hurt, but this is gonna help. Okay? Okay, deals you acquire and how much. Okay, we break it down for them. Okay, and when you show the deals and you are raising capital and they have questions, this is on your phone calls and you're raising capital, you know, kind of break down all your deals. Some of your investors are kind of sophisticated. They understand those questions. They might ask you, hey, what happens when? Just have those answers for them, right? Don't be dumbfounded, look like you didn't do your due diligence. Okay, understanding unforeseen costs, experience matters. If you have no experience, there's a tremendous amount of people. If somebody brings a deal, if I bring you a deal in this room and I'm going to partner with you on it, I bring all the deal and I even bring the money, would you jump on my deal with me? Who here would do that? Right now, if I bring a deal, I said, listen, I got the deal, I can raise the money, I just don't have the experience. Would you jump on with me for a piece? I don't have any experience. Somebody else, and I'm lazy, so somebody else is going to have to do something. Yeah, but there's people, you're at a great event here. Shame on you if you're not meeting people. Shame on you. Shame on you if you're just here hanging out and not doing, being intentional about why you're here, okay? So you have experience, man. There is experience here. If you're outside there and you're just talking and hanging out and drinking coffee and you're not meeting people and listening, shame on you. There's a reason, guys, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to say this too. There is a reason. This event, I'm here. I'm never at an event 4 days. Never. I generally come in the morning of or the night before. I speak and you would leave. I never do that. Never. Never do that. One, I think you disrespect other speakers. I think you disrespect the host of the show, okay? And you're going to miss something. And I put a lot, my time is worth everything, right? If I'm going to make the time to come here, one, I've been in this room for almost every speaker. Okay, my meetings are like, hey, get me at breakfast, get me at lunch, get me afterwards, okay? There's a reason why, and you'll see that's one of the reasons I've always raised a lot of money, because I've been there. I stay there. I meet everybody. I listen to what they say. You're going to pick a golden nugget from everybody, okay? Break down the deals for them. I'm not going to go how to break down deals right now. Show them comps, show them state of the market, show them about your team. Protecting your investor and lender, I'm a little different. I do seller financing, so I do, promissory notes, mortgages, confession of judgment, assignment of rents, personal guarantees. It's different than the multifamily space, but show them how you protect them. I'm going to start moving a little quicker here. The power of, you don't need that. How to fund your deals. Obviously, funding your deals, self-directed. Learn this, right? That's why I say stay in this room. Learn this. You have Camera Plan here. You should have been speaking to them. I mean, not Camera Plan, Quest. You should have been speaking to them. Or learning about self-directed IRAs and 401ks. You don't have to be the expert, but you have to understand a certain amount so you can tell people about this, educate them, and then bring the experts in. Do a webinar with them, okay? But if you didn't get to meet them and you didn't sit here and listen to them speak because you were outside doing what you were doing, you missed out on a tremendous opportunity. You know how much money I raised by bringing custodians in to speak to my group? I did nothing. I could have ran the whole class. I did nothing. I said, here's the expert. Talk to them. Do you know how much money I ran bringing a CPA into my group to talk about tax savings? Okay, so if you're not out there, there is people here that you should have been talking to. Obviously, you have health savings accounts, private banking, Coverdale accounts, learn how to pay kids. Who here owns a business? Doctors and, all right? Keep your hands up. You own a business? How many of you, leave your hands up, how many of you are paying your kids with the business? How much? Did you pay her before? Cool. Who else is anybody not paying their kids that own a business? Well, start it. No, I'm kidding. You could pay my kids, all right? Cash, I'm going to go through a little quicker. Talk about how much you're going to pay them back. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. I want to move along a little bit here because I want to get to, you know what? I'm going to get to, here, let's go a little further because I want to get to some important stuff. See, I did lose a lot of weight. That really was me. What I do different is I do private lender meetings. Okay? My private lender meetings are not like this. They're usually no more than 8 people. They're very VIP. I send out professional invitations like a wedding invitation to accredited type investors in the area. Okay? I do not say I'm raising money to them or anything. I'm teaching something. Business owners, how do you want to learn how to save money by paying your kids tax-free? Family, how do you want to learn how to put your kids through college without taking on any student debt? You think people might show up to those? Well, they did. In the beginning, they didn't. And I would keep running them over and over again. They got to the point where, sorry, we're sold out for that day. Would you like to come next week? And I ran it every week, every Tuesday at 12 and Wednesday at 7. And it would be a VIP style event, right in a conference room, attorney's room. You could do it in the back of a coffee shop, a restaurant, wherever you think you could have it. And you don't raise capital at that event. You just get to know you. Just get to know you, okay? And I generally didn't raise capital even before syndication. I had to know somebody 30 to 45 days, okay? So they would come, I would do that event, I would do my PowerPoint presentation on who I am, what I do, who's on my team, never asked for money, and it was very light and easy. After that, I would follow up with them on a one-on-one call, and I'd say, let's meet for coffee or lunch or breakfast. I would meet with them, and then I would sit down, and I still didn't present the deal to them. And I said, what type of deals are you looking for? What are your goals? How much money do you have? Where is it at? And I would always look at them in the face and say, let me ask you something. If we were to work together and I lost your money, what would that do to you? Because I never want to lose somebody's money, and thank God I've never lost a dollar for an investor in my life. 32 years, I've never lost my money, plenty. I don't even care to share that, plenty. But I've never lost a dollar for an investor, and you'll never see anything online about me, bad anything about losing money. I honor that. I definitely, that's big for me. And then after that, I get to know them. And then it would be maybe another couple weeks or a month, and a deal would come up, and if it fit those investors, I would call them up, and I'd say, hey, John, hey, Mary, I got this deal that we're talking about. It might be a fit for you. Before I put it out to my group, I'd love to get you involved because you mentioned it. I want to give you first right to look at it. Would this interest you? And that's how we do it. Guys, I only have 42 active investors. I don't know if I think Dan and I were speaking. I only have 42 investors. You guys probably have hundreds. I mean, I have a list of a couple thousand. 42 investors on my list have invested with me. Over $400 million in velocity. I have very good friends. We go out to dinner with my investors. I went to a Giants-Tennessee Titans game this year with my investors. Those are the relationships I have and I want. My investors never ask me questions like, how much am I going to make? I could probably pay them 5% and they'd be happy. They wouldn't even ask. I've had investors wire me money before they even got paperwork because I wired them money back. The deal was over and they sent it right back to me. I'm just talking about relationships. I'm not saying this to impress you. I'm really saying this to impress upon you. I'm talking about having the relationships. You know, Dan and I talk about it. He's the same way. He has great relationships. Okay, so I just want to put this out there. Start doing things a little differently, right? And I'm going to jump through a little bit. How do I find, you know, I'm speaking all over. I'm speaking on big stage, 3,000 plus people. I'm speaking on small events. It doesn't matter. It's just relationships. You know, like Corey said, we send them things. Great book. If you guys don't have it, might change your business. Tell you right now. Told my man the other day about it. Hope you read it. Giftology. Write it down. Giftology. That might have changed my whole business. Giftology. Okay? Do not send me your shirt with your logo on it. That is the worst thing in the world you could do. If you write a book and you want to sign it and send it to me, that's cool. But don't send me your shirt and your hat and expect me to go wear it for you. That's the worst. I don't even know where people get marketing skills from. Okay? Meanwhile, Tim's probably out there about to send me all his shirts and stuff. I'll take your shirts, Tim. I love you. You know, if I like you, I'll wear it. But giftology, right? Think about your investors. Corey said it great. Handwritten letters. I still do stuff like that. A little different. I always think about if I listen to you speak and I heard you say something, I really like it, I'll make a note of it. And if something comes up, I don't want anything for it. I just want to send it to you because I'm thinking about you, right? So remember, you don't need to go crazy. And I'm saying this, it's not to impress you. I want you to understand you can leave this room today and start writing your list. I call it like a hundreds list. Who's on your heart? Who do you really want to do? Who do you want to go out to dinner with, right? Who do you want to be friends with? 42 investors, that's all I have. So I'm not here to impress you. You guys, probably, every one of you probably has way more than me. Way more than me. Okay? $400 million, 42 investors. Okay, so I hope that helps. Once again, here's my book, Passive to Prosperous. Talks a little bit about my first part of it's an Amazon bestseller. I do donate every dollar I get to charities. It does talk about my first chapter is my why. That's the most important because I used to be a transactional investor. I made a lot of money transacting. Didn't have my life. I learned what my why was and what my true vision was and learned I love passive income. That's why I love raising private money. I love being in the bank as much as possible. I did tell you, I'm going to go through this because some of the biggest guys in the industry have learned how to raise private money by what we're doing. I'm not selling anything. You can connect with me online. I know a lot of people have already hit me on my Facebook personal page. Unfortunately, I do get my Facebook personal page hits that 5,000 limit. So go to my group page. It's Become a Real Estate Investor with Dan Zitofsky. I try to put stuff in there. I'm not selling you guys anything. I'm not doing any of that stuff here. I did tell you I was going to give you something for free. If you want my cheat sheet, you can go right there online. I just had it made. I had my guy make it up before I came here because I can't give it out there. I didn't know how many people were here, and I wasn't traveling with hundreds. I knew Tim and John were going to pack a room, so I couldn't give it hundreds of them out. But it's passivewealthacademy.com/money-guide. Okay? And it's not even investing in real estate. You're going to get my private money guide. It's a new guide I just wrote basically to come to this event and give out for free, something at Tim's event. Okay, so once again, passivewealthacademy.com/money-guide. Okay, and if you have any questions, I'm glad to ask them. You can put them in there. I love helping people that want to help investors, right, and help themselves. All right, so once again, thank you so much, Tim and John, for having a great event. This has freaking been amazing. I love you guys. I can't imagine where this is going to go in the next couple of years. Well, thank you, Tim. John just comes with the show, right? He's just for the good looks. Oh, guys, stay there. I'm going to hook these guys up. Get excited. Tim, first of all, you know what? I love how after our meetup, or after our Zoom, right, when I lost all the weight, Tim wanted to take a picture, and I did one of these. And now every one you do, I love it. I love it. So it just took off. So let me get a picture. I'll put it up online for you guys. If we can all get in there, let's go. Get in there. Give the old battle cry. All right, guys. Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Dan Zitofsky. Thank you so much.